We've got some yarn barf attached, as you do. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and a very special episode because this week I'm pulling all of my whips, all of my UFOs, that is works in progress and unfinished objects, out from their hidey holes into the light, and we're gonna go through all of them and see, why I cast them on, why I've stalled on them, why I haven't felt the urge, the need, the motivation to work on them, and will I frog them or will I keep them on the needles? A little different from my usual episodes, but this came highly requested, so I hope you're down for that. If you are, gather around, grab a cup of something, and let's get into things. Okay, I have no idea where to begin because I've got a huge pile of project bags around my feet right now. So, I'm just gonna grab one and we'll start from there. Some I know what's in them, others I really don't. So let's pick one up. All right, in this project bag that I sewed myself, we have, let's see, a sock in progress. Oh gosh. Okay, yeah, I remember this one. I don't remember when I cast it on. It might have been sometime last year. Clearly, I lost my mojo on this because, yeah, I haven't picked it up in quite some time. So, yeah, socks. I don't really knit socks anymore just because, truth be told, I don't wear hand knit socks that often. And if I do knit socks, it's usually a gift for somebody. So I don't know. I think I was either knitting these for Dennis or Dennis is dead. I don't know. The yarn is by Zauberball, Crazy Sock, I think. I'm blanking on the colorway name, but it's this really pretty, like slate gray, more on the blue denim end of the spectrum, but yeah, I should really finish these. It's already started. I may as well finish it. So if I get the urge to knit on a pair of socks, I'm probably going to reach for this pair. So this is going to stay on the needles. Anyway, moving along. What have we got here? Yeah. This project. This is so gross, guys. I had this sitting in when we moved here, I purchased a basket or a bucket. I don't know what you want to call it, but anyway, from Target, got a nice big bucket just to chuck my works in progress in, just so they're out of sight, but not out of mind, if that makes any sense. But my cat also decided to use said basket as her nest, just for her to take naps in, and clearly she's been using this as a pillow. But anyway, yeah, this is a really big project bag because the yarn that it's housing is, the skeins are quite big as well, so... Does this look familiar? Yeah, I picked, but right before we moved into this place, right before we moved away from Brooklyn, Dennis and I made a trip to, he went to Home Depot, I went to Michael's to kill some time, and they had a huge sale on this yarn right here, Caron Crystal Cakes. I mean, these skeins are huge, and I think they were selling them for about, I don't know, $5 each, and each skein has a free pattern on it. And while I was shopping there and looking at these cakes, I looked at the free pattern on the back of the skein and fell in love with this pattern right here. Oh yeah, here we go. It's a mitered square crochet Afghan. So fell in love with the pattern. Skeins were $5 each, picked up enough yarn to make some. And yeah, I just had at it. And this was exactly what I needed when we were in the midst of moving. Just a mindless, simple autopilot project to work on. Maybe the first 2 weeks that we moved in, I worked on it. But yeah, I have a nice pile of squares amassed. I think I have about 16 of these to knit total. And so far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, seven squares made. I think I'm going to finish it eventually. So I really do love this project. I love the colors. I mean, I absolutely love this yarn. And for acrylic yarn, it is so incredibly soft. Yeah, this type of gray is my gray. It's like a dark, moody, warm gray, if that makes sense. And then, yeah, these sparkles. And there's a touch of mauve in there too as well. So yeah, I, really should work on this again. And I'm starting to notice a pattern here with me in crochet. I have no trouble making the squares. It's just sewing them together that I think hinders me from actually finishing it. But also, I don't know why I stopped working on this, to be honest. maybe just, you know, the hullabaloo of moving in, getting settled, and then, oh yeah, then there was also meeting new knitters in my area and them inspiring me to cast on all the other things. I think that played a part in it as well. And you know what? I'm okay with that. That's fine. I know that this project will always be here for me when I'm ready to come back to it. So that is my crochet mitered Afghan that I will continue to work on eventually. Oh my goodness. Oh, there is that crochet hook. Oh gosh. See guys, it's worth pulling out projects from their hidey holes because you don't know what tools you've been missing out on. Anyway, this pattern I definitely am planning to frog. And kind of a want situation because, you know, I'm practically done with Body Island. It's so silly that I'm not finishing this project. And this is the Koru pullover by Johanna. I fell out of love with this project just because this color gray wasn't working for me. The yarn is Shoppewolle Pebble, and it's a beautiful yarn. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful fiber in here. I believe it's like alpaca, silk, cashmere, and I really love the tweed texture to it. But for some reason, whenever I look at it, it just reminds me of denim blue, which is not really my color. It doesn't really, I mean, I guess, but I don't know. Something about it I just can't get on board with. So I stopped working on it. But it has the same concept as my Fiola, where it has this pretty lace neckline detail here. And I think that's why I fell in love with the pattern. And again, it's a beautiful pattern, very well written. It's just the color of the yarn. I didn't want it in my wardrobe. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. But at the same time, come on, Kristen, you're on freaking Body Island. You have the ribbing to do, and then all you have to do is pick up the sleeves and the neckline. I mean, it's so silly. I might as well just finish it. Decisions. I think I'm gonna keep it on the needles, guys. I might just finish this. Next up, oh, I know what this one is. This is another project bag that I whipped up for myself. It's got the Gashly print on it. It's such a fun print, and it's got guys knitting on it. It's just got all these little sinister characters crafting away, especially this one. Yeah, anyway, but I know it's in here, and I seriously need to finish this. This has been languishing for way too long. I also have the issue of Pom Pom Quarterly that the pattern's in. Remember this, Gem? Yeah. The Pom Pom issue that was guest edited by Norah Gaughn, and everything about this issue just speaks to my soul on so many levels because it was inspired by Victorian women. And my goodness, if you can get your mitts on this copy, there are so many beautiful patterns in here. I mean, especially this one by Johi Locatelli, the Arbor Vitae. I mean, this has been on my queue for quite some time as well. I just have the yarn for it. I just have to get around to making it. But the pattern in question is the Nightingale by Norah Gaughn. And I was so inspired to cast this on because I saw Andrea's version from the Fruity Knitting YouTube channel. I'll link to that episode down below. But her version was so stunning, and I was like, I need one of these in my life. So this is the back of this sweater. So this is complete. It's all done. And yeah, as you can see, it's very, very, very involved, but not overly involved and complex. I mean, I do have to pay attention to what my hands are doing when I'm knitting on it, but for the most part, it's doable. Like if you've cabled before, this is so incredibly doable, but you do have to pay attention. Yeah, so needless to say, it's a labor of love, and yeah, so anyway, this is the back, and then I'm almost done knitting the front. So there we go. Let me see, this is where I am on the front. We've got some yarn barf attached, as you do. I'll figure that out later. But yes, it's Quince & Co. Lark, which is 100% American wool in the Damson colorway. It's worsted weight, and it's just this, yeah, again, this really beautiful kind of like warm purplish gray that I am all about. And I definitely, and you're probably wondering, Kristen, do you even remember what row you were on? Yes, I do, because I printed out the pattern, and I'm not going to give anything away, but I printed out the pattern and I highlighted every row, so I know the last row that I was on, and I made notes with the date. I was organized. Very good, Kristen. Thank you, past Kristen, for being so organized. So anyway, not worried about that. This I definitely want to finish. Maybe this is the year that I will finish it. We shall see. I mean, I am at one of those points where I'm kind of like in a knitting slump right now. I don't really know what to work on other than my travel mode shawl that I'm working on, which is completely garter stitch. It's just back and forth garter stitch till the cows come home. And I think I need something a little more involved to counteract that. And I think this might be the project. So anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna shove that in there, like you do. Next up, this one's in a box. Really, Kristen? Really? Why? I was cleaning my craft room one day, and just for convenience, I chucked this project in here and said I'll get to it later. Never did. It just ended up underneath my sewing table, and when I was looking around for whips and UFOs today, found it. And residing inside this box is my Once and Floral. Cast this on a couple months ago. This is a wonderful, beautiful pattern by Maxim Sear. And I honestly, sadly think that this is going to get the frog pond, just because I was knitting this in my own hand-dyed yarn, Voolenvine yarns, in my Rochester colorway, one of my favorite new colorways that I dyed. Bronte, I mean, yeah, and Grimm, I mean, obviously, because I incorporate Grimm into pretty much all of my projects. And the reason why I think I'm gonna frog this is simply because, number one, my color work in here is, for some reason, it's just a little too puckery. And I think that's because there are so many color changes happening in this pattern. And I'm not really accustomed to working with more than 2 colorways when working with color work. So when you're working with 3 colors in a row, I definitely have to be more cognizant about my tension, and I think that's why it's puckering. And then the other reason why is that I'm not into it. Is that a reason? I think it is. I think it's a very valid reason. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I love the finished object. I like the idea of having this as a finished object in my wardrobe, but I'm not eager to have it in my wardrobe. I don't know. It's just one of those, it's a mood. It's a mood, guys, and I'm just, I don't know, not feeling it. Great pattern, though. Great pattern, beautifully written. Highly recommended if you're into that, if that's something that you're thinking about casting on and knitting. I've seen so many beautiful versions. But anyway, that's how it is, I guess. Moving along, how many? Oh, we've got a lot to get through. Oh goodness. All right, living in this project bag that I also made. I make a lot of project bags, guys. Or I have made a lot of project bags. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah. This was a pandemic project. And do you guys remember this? Oh. This is the Battenberg blanket that I was making. That is exactly what the pattern is called. It's a pattern by Sandra Lee, I believe. I'll link to it down below. Again, free pattern. And I fell in love with this yarn by Gumi 50. It's a sock yarn, and it's this colorway right here. It's just this glorious peachy pink taupe cream variegated yarn with speckles all throughout, and I love this yarn so much. I ordered like a blanket's worth along with contrasting cream fabric, and yeah, all of this together reminds me of a Battenberg cake. When you cut into a Battenberg cake, it has like a checker pattern inside, and it reminds me exactly of this. So yeah, I cast this on to soothe my soul during the pandemic. Making these tiny little crochet granny squares is all I wanted to work on. And in hindsight, I probably should have worked on this for our Granny Square Along that's happening over in the private Facebook group for members. Guys, true to form, I am not keeping up with my own make-alongs. And if you're not familiar, if you are a member of this group, you get an invite to our private Facebook group where we're having a Granny Square Along. And I messed up royally because I originally said that the make-along would come to a close on August 1st. For some reason in my brain, I thought it was August 31st, and I forgot to announce a giveaway winner. Anyway, the make-along is still going on. It's over in our private Facebook group, and it's ending August 31st. So technically, there is still time to join in, make something granny square inspired. You can knit, you can crochet, you can weave, whatever your craft is, you're welcome to join. Get creative. There are no hard and fast guidelines other than make squares. Make squares and share your progress and your finished objects over in the Facebook group to enter to win a giveaway prize. And that giveaway prize, by the way, is going to be 4 skeins of Voolenvine yarns in a colorway of your choosing and base of your choosing. So do check it out. Battenberg Blanket, obviously I'm going to keep working on this. I seriously want the finished object. I love it so much. And I stopped working on it because I made a mistake. Honestly, I think that's the main reason, other than losing interest and losing steam, I think the main reason I let projects fall to the wayside is because I made a mistake and I don't want to deal with it. So it's such a stupid mistake too, because I think I just sewed 2 squares together at angles that weren't supposed to happen. Where is it? Let me see. Where is it? Come on. Ah, is this it? No. I guess I unpicked it. Here. I'll stand up so you can see. But yeah, I made quite a lot of progress on this. Where is the mistake? Did I even make a mistake? Was it all in my head? Apparently I can't even find the mistake. So either I ripped it out or it was all in my head. I have no idea. I pulled the yarn out of my stash so I can actually show you what yarn it is and what it looks like in the skein. This is by Bergère de France, Gumi 50. So this is that yarn, and it's 75% wool and 25% polyamide, fingering weight, 3-ply, and then anyway, they didn't have a plain cream in this yarn, so I purchased a substitute yarn, which was relatively same ballpark, Regia 4-ply in, I think, color 01992. Cream, and yeah, it has the same type of fiber content, 75% wool, 25% polyamide. I thought these were kind of like a match made in heaven, and that's what I'm working on for this project. Back in the project bag you will go, but yes, I will finish this project at some point. When? I don't know, but I love it and I want to finish it, so yay. Oh, this one. This is a recent cast on. I talked about this 2 episodes ago, I believe. This is the Slip Stitch Party by Isabell Kraemer, and I made a little bit more progress on it. As you can see, last time I showed it to you, it was like a teeny tiny, very teeny tiny triangle, and I spent all of a Sunday, I think, just working on this, and oh my goodness, you guys. This is not a walk in the park, for me at least, because for this stitch in particular, it's really cool. I don't know how well you can see that, but the texture is really awesome, and it's just really clever, and yeah, anyway, it's cool, but the stitch repeats are so involved. I have to constantly look down at what my fingers are doing, look at the directions, and the other thing that's kind of like a bee in my bonnet is that the pattern isn't charted out. It's all written directions, and again, when I'm presented with walls of text, my eyes go a little cross, a little bug-eyed, and I completely lose track. But thankfully, I did a little digging on Ravelry, and oh my goodness, you guys, Ravelry, what would we do without Ravelry? Because there was a wonderful knitter who, I don't know if she finished it, but she started to knit this, and she actually took the time to chart everything out. It was very crude. It's very, lots of scribbles, but she did color code everything and found a way to chart out this pattern, and it really helped me out. I sent her a note on Ravelry. I thanked her for making the chart. I never heard back from her, but anyway, I just wanted to let her know that I appreciated what she did. So I've just been using the chart, which has really helped me, but at the same time, I'm not enjoying this pattern at all. It's just like, I don't look forward to working on it. And, I was really excited about it because I got to use up some leftover yarn from Stash and my Miss May MCal, because I had a lot of yarn left over from the Miss May MCal, believe it or not. There's a whole other shawl to be had with the yarn that I had left over. And then I had some other random skeins left over in my stash. So anyway, it would be nice to have the finished object, but at the same time, I'm not here. maybe I really am a process knitter because I want to enjoy the journey to the finished object most of the time, because if it's not enjoyable, then I'm like, why am I even bothering? Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because even with the Nightingale pullover, so many cables, very involved. When cables are charted, it's easy to visualize, whereas this pattern, when it's charted, it looks just like a jumbled Picasso, if you will, or Jackson Pollock, honestly. Anyway, I will link to the chart down below in case you would like to knit this pattern. Again, this is the slip stitch pattern by Isabell Kraemer. Again, like I get why she didn't take it upon herself to chart, just because it is very complex to I don't know. I get why she didn't do it. But you know, if you don't have trouble reading text directions, then this might be your jam. So that is that tale of woe. That's getting frogged. Next up, we have the Badger in Bloom. And this is a pattern by Ventzel that I cast on right after I finished my ranunculus. Second project since I moved into this house. And yeah, this is here to stay. I just haven't worked on it very much. I picked it up a couple weeks ago to put a couple rows in, but I got distracted again. So yeah, I think once the weather starts to cool down and I finish a couple of other things, I'm going to pick this back up again, because clearly I do want this in my wardrobe. It's a simple pattern, simple color work. I'm not getting any puckering or anything, and it's just a very simple, enjoyable, no drama knit. So yeah, the Badger in Bloom is here to stay. So this is the yarn. It's Sandnes Garn Koss, and it's 62% baby alpaca, 9% wool, 29% nylon. And I picked this up from Pick Up Every Stitch. So beautiful, delicious yarn indeed. Oh goodness, I know what this one is. This, I really should finish this. It's so stupid that I'm not finishing it. My Don't Look Up pullover. Guys. Why can't I just bring myself to finish it? It's so dumb that I'm not finishing this, guys, really. This is my Don't Look Up pullover. It is a pattern that I am designing / reverse engineering. This is a pattern design that I saw in Target, and then I also saw it from the movie Don't Look Up with Jennifer Lawrence. It was a sweater that she was wearing. I was so taken by it, and I was like, I want that sweater. It looks so cool, and you know, I love a good challenge. So I went onto the Target website, found the sweater, and then just overanalyzed it basically and created a chart. And the chart is available for free. I linked to it on my Ravelry page, so I'll link to that below. All of the links, everything that I mentioned here is going to be linked below. But yeah, I did create a chart. I did create like a crude-ish pattern to go by, you know, just for my size, because, you know, this is, I don't want to, I feel like I'm walking a fine line when it comes to intellectual property and, you know, stealing someone else's design. I really don't want to, I want to stay in my lane when it comes to that. So, you know, I'm just releasing my notes for free on my Ravelry page. But if you want to make your own, you can easily do that just by finding gauge and using Elizabeth Zimmerman's sweater percentage system, just plugging and playing, and you should be able to make one in your own size using the chart that I made. So, yeah, I mean, we're done with Body Island. We're done. I just have to hop on Sleeve Island and Bob's Your Uncle. And I think why I stopped working on this is because I realized it's not my style. Like, I mean, it's cool. It really is cool. It's a really fun and funky sweater. But at the same time, I'm just like, is it really me? Does it really suit my aesthetic? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I kind of lost steam on it just because I was like, okay, maybe it's not in my wheelhouse of style. I don't know. It all comes down to color. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, if it's not in my comfort zone when it comes to color, I check out. I don't know. But it's a heavy sweater too. But the yarn that I'm using, Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Superwash. And I also added a little bit of mohair for texture in here. I think it was their floof. But the colorways I used was persimmon, coal, and passion fruit. I think that's what the colorway is. Anyway, yeah, again, links below. So anyway, yeah, that is my Don't Look Up pullover. I haven't brought obviously I'm not gonna frog it. I should really just finish it, guys. I really should. What, pray tell, is in here? Yes. This project is, yeah, It's languishing. My Lapis Pullover that I started on vacation. Goodness, why didn't I finish this? I mean, I am so in love with the colors happening in here. I think what happened with this is that I lost my place. Yeah, that's the only explanation. I lost my place and didn't have the energy to go back and figure out where I was in the project, because I think, yeah, if you look very closely, this yarn, by the way, is my hand-dyed yarns, Voolenvine yarns, in my new Vo base using my Manderley colorway and Grimm. So there's not a lot of contrast in here, and you have to alternate between colorways at a certain point, and I think I kind of lost track of how many times I was supposed to alternate, and I made a mistake somewhere. Again, I don't feel like ripping out. And I lost my place in the pattern. Go figure. But anyway, I honestly don't know what the fate of this project is. Maybe I should just start over. But at the same time, you know, looking at the pattern, it's a beautiful pattern, but do I really want a short sleeve sweater? That's the thing with certain patterns, like the short sleeve sweaters, I can't get behind, because I personally like to have my arms covered if I'm wearing wool. Otherwise, I don't see the point in wearing a sweater. Your mileage may vary, everyone's different, but for me personally, if I'm wearing a sweater, if I'm wearing wool, my arms want to be covered. So I think it might be great to revisit this pattern using like a linen or a cotton, just something lightweight for summer, or like chilly warmer months. I don't know, but I think this might sadly hit the frog pond, just because, yeah, I lost steam on it, guys. Yeah, but again, a beautiful, fun pattern. I love the whole concept of it. I definitely want to revisit it with a lighter weight yarn, again, like linen or cotton. So anyway, I had to free up this project bag too, because Halloween is coming, my friends, and has all these cute little black cats and witch hats and boots and crystal balls. I freaking love this bag, guys. So anyway, yeah, that's the fate of my lapis. I think it's lapis. We'll go with lapis. Last but not least, we have one more bag. I don't know what's in it. I forgot. Let me see. Yes, guys, I made this project bag too. Also Halloween inspired. Look at that. It's got ghosty dresses. It's got black cats, gravestones, spider webs. Oh, goodness. So good. New cast on. It was a new cast on. This is my Lace and Fade Boxy by Johi Locatelli. And yeah, definitely have stalled on this one for a few reasons. Number one, I made a mistake. Again, it's all just, you know, making mistakes and not wanting to deal with them. Truly, what is it with that? But yeah, again, more of my hand-dyed yarn, Voolenvine yarns, Nouveau base, Ghost Lace base in the Rochester colorway. The other thing that I'm kind of stalling on is because I'm wondering if this pattern is really for me, the finished object. I like the look of it. It's very boxy and oversized, but I'm wondering if it's a little too oversized for me. Just looking at it, I feel like it's going to be a tent on me, and I'm hesitant. I'm very hesitant to finish it. So I don't know. I might end up frogging this, just because I don't think, yeah. The more I think about it, the more I don't think the finished object is gonna look good on me. If I'm being totally honest with myself, I think I'm just gonna frog it. I know, guys. I know. But yeah. Anyway, I feel like I had so many more whips and UFOs in the ether hanging out here, but right before we moved, I did a hardcore audit of all of my works in progress, and I did end up frogging quite a bit of things. That I probably, in hindsight, should have vlogged about, because I know you guys would have been into that. Anyway, it was a very busy, chaotic time for me at that point, so I just wanted to get things done and off my plate. I'm sure you can totally understand. But I believe that sums up all of my UFOs, my unfinished objects that I've had languishing. So glad that I did this episode, because, yeah, it really forced me to just look at what I have on the needles and, you know, come to terms with, like, do I want to finish them? Do I not want to finish them? Hey everyone, it's Kristen from the future. I'm sitting here editing this week's episode, and I realized that I don't think I hit record on the conclusion part of this video. So here I am. I'm re-recording it just to sum things up for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned something, and I hope you found it helpful. You know, if you're feeling overwhelmed with how many projects you currently have going on, or you have no clue as to what's hiding in your closet as far as whips and UFOs. Anyway, maybe you feel inspired to sift through your whips and UFOs and just try to decipher like what's worth keeping on the needles and what you feel like frogging. I think, when it comes to me, what I've learned is that, me personally, I think what I've learned here is that whenever I make a mistake, I have a not so great habit of letting things take a time out and then forgetting about them. Because whenever I hit a roadblock, I just don't want to deal with them in the moment, so I just set them aside and I'll say I'll get to it later, when really I know deep down inside me I'm really not going to get to it unless I really truly want the finished object. In that case, I think the remedy for that is just to face things head on, rip it off like a band-aid, and deal with the situation at hand. Fix my mistakes in the moment. And then there's also color. Sometimes I get excited about a color palette. I really fall in love with it, but then in hindsight, it's not really something that jives with my personal wardrobe, something that I would gravitate towards wearing. So, sometimes, like the Don't Look Up pullover, I like the idea of it. It looks cool, but in practice, it doesn't really fit my aesthetic. So I think it really helps just to be, cognizant about picking colors that I'm, but again, that said, there's nothing wrong with picking a color palette out of your comfort zone. I just have to be more cognizant about, which projects I'm choosing to use that color palette for. If it's like a shawl or something fun, or a gift for someone else, or a pair of socks or something, then I think it's perfectly fine that I go for it. But, when it comes to a garment, something that I'd want to wear on a regular basis, then I think I should just take a step back, let it marinate a little bit before I go full on casting it on. Maybe, switching a color in or out. So that's another thing that I learned. But also, as I was saying, when I'm working on a project and I know deep down inside I'm not really feeling it, it's not a finished object that I am craving or truly want, or I'm just not feeling into it. There's something about the project that I'm just not clicking with. I just have to get better at acknowledging that and just being okay. Because, truth be told, I do feel guilt about these things. It's so silly. I should practice what I preach when I say that, it's okay to change your mind. There's no guilt or shame in doing that, We're allowed to change our mind. And you're probably wondering, Kristen, why would you feel guilty about giving up on a project or quitting? It's so silly, but sometimes when I talk about a project, I mention it to you guys, how I'm excited about it. I get you guys excited, and I feel like I'm letting you guys down. I'm disappointing you if I don't follow through with the project. But you know what? This is my own channel, and I can do what I want. So, that's pretty much what's going on up here whenever I think I feel guilty about letting go of a project. I think this was a very enlightening exercise. I mean, if I gleaned that much, I think progress has been made. I'm gonna wrap things up. Thank you so much, as always, for hanging out with me. If you're new here, welcome. If you haven't already, feel free to like and subscribe down below. I'm putting out videos for your viewing pleasure every week. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much again, and I will see you next time. Bye.